Okay, so we got our spring loaded back. Okay, now the next thing I want to do is actually get this spring hooked up. I think for now I might just run a zip tie up here, just up here or something, but just put a little tension on it. But I need to figure out the geometry. Is this spring got to be up here? Does it got to be down here? You know, where in this San Diego-ness does this spring need to be? So let's figure that out next. Okay, this is what I'm gonna put in there. I got about an inch and a quarter inch bolt, and I got just a machine nut, and I'm gonna bottom out on the threads, and a flange nut to put on the outside, and then the spring will hook on the shoulder that's exposed. So far, so good. I do like having nice sharp bits. My dad actually sharpens those by hand. I have no idea how he does it, but Dad sharpens those bits by hand. He just stands at the bench grinder or the sander or whatever he uses, he just and he hands it to me, and the thing is sharper than it was when it was new. Makes me mad. Now we gotta stick our finger in the back, see if it's sharp. Oh, it's actually not. That's usually where I end up bleeding. Okay, here's our bolt. I'm gonna have to get a different bolt. The threads are boogered up, but anyway, here's the idea anyway. Here, you guys wanna see that? Just like that right there. I'm gonna hook that spring on there. Oh, sorry. Hook that spring on there and should be good to go. Looks like I couldn't have gotten that any closer. Might not even have to put a wrench on that. I gotta go get a different bolt. The threads are boogered up on that one. Okay. It's been about an hour and a half, and I'm kind of tedious like this. But I went in my drawer, and I found a spring, and it was too heavy, so scrapped that one. And I found this spring, and it was about 7 inches long, but I bent a curl on this end, and up on that end I bent a hook. But I won't lie to you, I bent that hook, and then I didn't make it long enough. Remember I said I had to clear the rod, so I had to redo that end 17 times, and then this end here I got it all put together, and it was too long, so I did it again and again and again. And right now I've got it so there's just a little bit of tension on that spring. There's not a lot, but if we move this rod like we're pushing on the throttle, that spring extends and comes back. Here, I'll move it up here. That spring looks like it's loose, but I don't think I want to put any more on it, because I don't want it to be any harder. It ain't gonna come off. So, can you see up in there? Comes back on its own. Okay, so I believe we got the spring-loaded part done. The next thing we gotta work with is this. Been thinking about this a lot. If I put this rod back in here. If I put this rod back in there to run the throttle, if I put this back in there, when you go to push the foot throttle, which is going to be right here, which I have no idea what I'm going to make that out of yet, but when you push on this, this rod is going to try to engage this. So what I would like to do is have this so that I could set it, and then I want the foot throttle to be able to bypass it. So this rod, as it is not gonna work. So I either need to make a sliding. I mean, I got a lot of room in here, all up in here. I got a lot of room. I either need to make some sort of a slide on it. Another idea I had was a piece of chain. But I need to make it so that this rod can get shorter. I need this rod to be able to get shorter and then longer. So let me set you guys aside for a second. Let me study this. I'm gonna come up with something, but let me think about this. Stand by. Let's see how much stroke I need. So I made a mark on the side of this rod. I'm pushing it down so that the injector pump is totally closed. I'm going to make a mark on the side of this frame here. Let's see how long this rod gets at full throttle. Right there. Okay. As you can see, got a mark here and a mark there. This rod goes from there to there at full throttle. So there to there. Okay. I need to come up with about 1.5 inches. Well, that'd be the minimum, 1.5 inches. I need to go a little more than that. That way when the foot throttle runs the tractor, this throttle can stay put and that rod can slide up and down. So let's put some engineering thought into how we can make that. At least I know I need about 1.5 inches of about 1.5 inches of slot or something. Let me work on that. I'll get right back to you. Okay. Just had dinner. Hot dogs and tater tots, I'm telling you. You don't get any better than that. I had this idea when I was eating dinner. I think if I take out this much, if I take this much of that rod out and weld the top rod to there, the bottom rod to here, and put these two links in there, I think that'll be my slip joint. Now, of course, you're saying that rod is gonna flip and flop all over the place. So I think I gotta do is down here at the bottom in the side, is I think I gotta support the bottom rod. Basically, I'll support the bottom link. So it can't go away, ahead, forward, back, or anything like that. And then the top one will just be trapped by that one. So I don't think I need to support the top rod, just the bottom one. So what I think I'm gonna do is I found this little bushing here that happens to be the same size as the rod, but I got thinking about it, that might be hard, I'd have to weld it. So I think what I'm gonna do is inside this cover here, is I think I'm just gonna do a, I'll just do just a piece of metal with a round hole in it. Maybe I get like a piece of 3/8 plate and just bolt it to the side here. That'll support the bottom rod with one of these links welded to it, and then weld this to the top rod. Be good to go. So that'll get the hand throttle reconnected. Then I gotta find a way to get the foot throttle. By the way, I don't even have a foot throttle yet. I gotta find something to use as a foot throttle. I'm a little not looking forward to that because you got to figure out, there's gonna be a lot of engineering with that. You gotta find how long the arm's gotta be, where the pivot's gotta be, is it in the middle? You know, how much stroke do we need on the rod? How much stroke do we need on the pedal? Or like on the, under your toe, so to speak. Well, actually, we know how much stroke we need on the rod. We got it right here. We need this inch and, what was that? What was this, 1.5 inches. We need 1.5 inches of stroke on the linkage end of the pedal. And I'm guessing under your toe, I mean, how much do throttles move on other tractors? 2.5 inches? So, let's get this rod back out of here. It's in the tractor. And let's, I actually have an extra link here. There's 3, so I'm gonna cut one of these links off. And then I'm gonna take that rod, which I don't want it to be any longer than 2 of these links, and let's weld this in place. And then after that, we're gonna have to build that flag that goes on the side of here for the rod to go through. Might make that kind of loose, that way the rod can kind of travel in there. So let's see what we can wreck. Get this rod out. Here's our rod. Let's go to the grinder. Let's cut one of these links off because I don't need 3, I only need 2. And then let's install the 2 of these links right here in this flat spot. I got all kinds of room. This is hollow from here to here, so I could put those in here anywhere. And if I do this, if I engineer this just right, I can get the, maybe I can even get it to where once I weld this one link to the bottom of the rod, maybe the foot pedal can hit the bottom of it. Okay, I like where this is going. Got my Milwaukee Portaband in this little table. I've done a video on that before. Whenever I cut these links, I always keep these, so there's already a weld right here. So usually what I do is I'll cut a notch out of this link, and I'll actually just get rid of that weld, because you never know, I might need this someday. You know, you might be able to weld it down for a tie down or something. So I'm gonna cut this right here at this weld. Boom, see there? Now keep that and use it. Like I said, you might use it for a tie down or something. You can just weld it right there. So I'll keep that. But here's my 2 links that I need for my rod. This rod, when it's all up in full throttle, is as high as I can go. So I think I'm gonna put these in here like this. I think I'll maybe shortchange that out. So it does look like these pins, probably a good thing I'm videoing this. This pin and this pin point in the same direction. Like right now, this is pointing straight up, and this one here is also pointing straight up. So when I weld this back together, I'm gonna make sure I got these pointing straight up. So I gotta go get my tape. When you see how long those 2 links are, 4 13/16. 4 13/16. Just double check it. Measure twice. Yep. It's just a tick over 3/4. So 4 13/16. 4 13/16. Let's take a lot of notes on the bench. Okay, my rod is officially in 3 pieces. This piece I took out should be the same length as 2 links. Yep. These need to be pointing the same way. So this goes this way. Yep, because that throttle's out here, so this points that way, because this goes in that way. So this first link needs to be welded on here like this. I gotta go set my welder up. I haven't used that in a while. Uncle Ray swept the floor and he put everything away, so the welder's all tucked away over in the corner. Let me go get that ready, and then we're gonna weld this link on there just like that. Bingo bango. I'm going to clean this up with a flap wheel a little bit, and then I think when I'm at it where they welded these links together, there's a little burr. I don't think it's going to bother, but I might as well flap wheel them off a little bit too. I got a die grinder, my electric die grinder over here. Just get rid of that little burr inside there too, that one. Might as well do it on both of these. And then before I weld this rod, which is straight to this link, I need to build my little flag, because you got to slide that on, weld it, because that's what gets bolted to the side of the tractor. So I got to build that flag before I weld this on there. But anyway, let me do this little cleanup work. I'll get back to you guys in a minute.